Hello guys and welcome back. Let's go ahead and do some more refining of the hands. We don't really need to go too far, but we can at least block out some of the essential structures down the way. Okay, and of course every time we start, it's a good idea to start refining the shape. I kind of like to have a longer finger. Okay, proportion wise I think longer finger will look nicer. Okay, so I'm just dragging them longer. Okay. Now let's talk about the basic structures here. Though first of all, on the connection part, you have this end of the ulna bone from the arm, so somewhere around here. Okay, and you can connect it to the top. Okay, and smooth that out. All right. Oops, that's a little bit too far away from the hand, so let me reposition it somewhere here. Okay, and smooth that. All right, and then after this, you can think of this little part as a little triangle dipping in. Okay, you can use edge polish even to push it in a little bit. Okay, that's kind of like some of the low ground on the hand. Okay, and then for the high ground on the back of the hand, you can fan out the golden ratio point here from the hand, from this side to the other side, this one, and connect this one to the middle finger here. That's the high ground of the hand. Okay, let me clear the mask and smooth that out. Okay, now from there you just blend to the surroundings, gradually have arcs going down. Right. Okay, and also you have other structures. Basically the bones of the fingers going downwards there too. Okay, you can draw something like that. Okay, all right, and then moving on to let's talk about the back. Okay, the first thing you want to figure out is of course also the connection. So that part has to be proper before you move on, right? So let me fill in some volume down there. Okay, and again, because you're sculpting the inside, the body could easily block you. You can Control Shift and drag out a big selection here. This is going to allow you to just focus on the hand part. Okay, and I'd like to sculpt it from this particular angle. Okay, see, so this one, oh, I got a little lost. Yeah, that's the one I want to go start with. Okay, I'm more familiar with this angle. Alright, so let me give the sum a little bit more volume here, and let's talk about the connections. Connections basically is like you have the hand slightly bigger, right? You have the on the back of the hand you have 3 big paddings, right? I think we know that already. Everyone knows that. Anyway, so let me just block those guys in, right? Fairly quickly. Now moving down to the connection here in the center, you will have something going out. Those legs are coming from the muscles from the body of the arm. They're all going down connected here. Okay, you have multiple lines, but the most visible one is the one that connected here to the thumb, more or less, and the others can be a little bit more weaker. And oftentimes you have winkles around it, but those things, like again, we can probably do this later on when we have like you know, a really retopologized model. We can block in some more detail there, but you know, just some indication to tell us where the connection is, right? Okay, and then here you can also just try to refine on the using the winkles to tell us where does it start and end. And here I can just have a little bit more volume here for one of the paddings on the hand. Okay, and then here you can create another padding. It's gonna be something like this on the palm. Okay, this part, and the rest is gonna be oh, when I look at it now, I think this part might be too straight of a line here, and my fingers should not be like this on the bottom either, so I think I dragged the top. Let me also make the bottom also kind of arced a little bit. Okay, refine the volume here. I think it's, generally speaking, I don't like the length here. I don't like how long it is. I think it should be longer. So let me drag these guys forward a bit more. Okay. And also have to tweak the fingers afterwards. So anytime when you're sculpting, the important thing is you always try to see if you have big ratios, right? And sometimes you have to practice enough to be able to see those things. But just try, right? Always try to see if you see something you don't like. Okay. So back to the hand, the back of the hand. In the middle, you can draw a triangle here, like the Iron Man, or a circle like the Iron Man suit. And that's gonna be the low ground around it. Okay. And you can fill in some of the patterns afterwards. Okay, winkle wise, you have one from the edge goes in, from this edge goes in, right? And you have another one from the other edge, right? Oftentimes, the one from this edge on the side goes, oops, should use stamp standard, whoops. You should use stamp standard here, right? And this one from the other side goes down. And different people may have different, slightly different layouts, but that's the two primary winkles here. But again, we can do those later on. If we want to be, if we really want to be realistic, there are ways to use alpha instead of manually sculpting it, because this is gonna take a long time if you wanted to really define every little detail yourself, right? But you can still try to say, okay, I want some winkle here, at least I know that's where I'm gonna have them. You can draw something out, but you know, if you really want to get super realistic result, then you do have to use some alphas. But let me just indicate some of the winkles here on the hand, okay, just to make it look a little bit better. Okay. Now, oftentimes we believe that these details are not as important as the bigger shape, so you still need to spend enough time on the detail part. But still, like in this stage, we haven't got topology yet, so doing all these will be not as important yet. So we just indicate some of the bigger structures, right? The back and you know the inside and the outside of the hand, the palm and the back, the fingers, have some of the basic structure laid out, and then we can talk about how we can detail them later on. For now, maybe I can give these guys just a little bit more detail here. So the fingers are actually much more complicated. You think the first segment is bigger here, right? That's the first segment and getting bigger. And moving on to the second segment, that joint, that turning point is actually thinner, so it's like an asymmetrical result. So this part is wider, and moving on to the next segment, it's getting thinner. Okay, so that's just the characteristic of it. I think I'm over exaggerating it. Okay, all right, and then we have fingernails, so that's something we have to do also. But let me actually refine the bigger shape a little bit more before I do that. Drag things around. Okay, so finger-wise, it's not gonna be a perfect cylindrical shape. It's more square-like on the top and more rounded at the bottom. That's the way it is. So you can try to find something like that. But my resolution is a little low. Let me hit the D button to go up a notch. Or do I have? Oh, that's the highest I can go. Okay, I don't have that much of a resolution. Or is that because I'm isolating stuff? Maybe that's because I'm isolating stuff. But either way, I don't have that much resolution to deal with those details yet. I can maybe choose to have it done later on. For now, just some indication on where the bending is. I think that's good enough for now. Okay. Oh yeah, I kind of wanted to have some fingernail there if I can. But that can also be done later on. There's, some of the workflows can be flexible. Okay, so I'm going to choose to maybe have those fingernails down after I have topology, because now I need the shape. I need a bigger shape, and the fingernail is not part of the bigger shape. It's a detail, in my opinion. One of the things you wanted to really pay attention is the thumb, though. You want the thumb to be having enough curvature when it goes to the last segment. Okay, and the winkles around it, of course. Okay, now find some reference. That's really important, otherwise you wouldn't even see smaller variations on the face. Okay. Alright, so that's the bending part. A little bit more forward. And I think I can make it just a little bit longer. Okay. Alright. Cool. So just to make it a little bit more like female, I'm going to try to adjust some of the shapes, make them look thinner and longer. Okay. Alright, get everything back. Let's take a look. Okay. Thinking maybe I make this part too strong, so oops. So I can make it just a little bit more weaker. Okay. Alright, so now we have almost the full body here. In the next class I'm going to do maybe a fast forward with me trying to see if there's more problem. I'm trying to do more refinements of the shape before we move on. So that's going to be a fast forward. I will probably also be just talking on the background, just tell you what I'm thinking when I'm sculpting those or doing those tweaking. That part will be focused on the bigger shape, so I will try to not make any new detail. Okay, see you next time.